All right, my name's Himba. I'm from Zambia. Right now, I'm a public health student. I'm doing my master's. And yeah, I guess that's really it. That's all that's going on. I live in New Hampshire, but I'm in Ohio for quarantine with my brother.
What part of Ohio?
Dayton.
I went
Yeah.
to school in Cincinnati, so.
Oh, really? It's kind of dead, but it's okay. It'll do. It's better than New Hampshire, though. That I'm gonna say it's better than New Hampshire. So yeah, I'm here till whenever we can get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Himba. I like that name.
Thank you.
And I think the in the white with the braids or the faux locks.
Joe. Okay. I wasn't sure if I was next. So my name is Joe. I live in Philly. As far as my background, I'm in finance, so that's what I do.
Oh, hey, Joe. I like your hair, sis.
Thank you.
And your red earring. You're just cute.
It's holding on strong.
And then my other sis in the white. I think it's your turn.
Hi, my name is Sass.
Excuse me. Woo!
Excuse you.
No, put down that glass.
My name is Cecilia. I go by Sass or Cece. I am a nursing student. I currently live in Philadelphia, and originally I'm from Kenya.
Yay. Hey, sis. Nice to meet you. You are the hero of this period, sis. We love and we appreciate you. You're doing the good Lord's work. I'll be praying for you and your family.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
And then Nora.
Hi, my name is Nora Frida. I'm trying to get people to call me Nora Frida because that's my first name. Like most people that know me already call me Nora, but like Nora Frida. I'm from Cameroon, obviously. I am an international relations major, political science, with a minor in African area studies. And right now I am in Salisbury University, out in West Bubba of Maryland, quarantined here away from my family.
Oh. Okay. Is the moderator back? Is she on? I can't see.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, my name is Imlara. Hey guys, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. I have a bachelor's degree in health services administration. I have a minor in business and a minor in gender and diversity studies. I am currently quarantined in Chicago. I live by myself, but my family lives like 2 to 3 blocks away. So if I need something like salt, I just call my mom to come get it for me. Like, mommy, I need Maggi, and I'm from Cameroon, so whoop whoop, Cameroon in the house.
Nice to meet you.
Nice. So I don't know how this is gonna go, but until the moderator comes, I'm just gonna like go with the flow.
Wait, Joe, did you introduce yourself? I missed it.
Yes,
I
did.
I can go again. I can go again.
Yes, go again. Joe from Philly.
Yeah, so my name is Joe. I am originally from Kenya, but live in Philly, so currently here. As far as my background, I have a bachelor's in finance and a minor in the communications, but I work in finance and investments.
Okay. Are we missing anyone else?
We're missing our moderator.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just start off. I like to start off like with everyone highs and lows. So what was your high for the day and what was your low for the day? We're gonna start off from the first person that introduced herself. Imba?
My high, sleep and food, definitely. Yeah, that's all I do, to be honest. My low, I can't even think. Like, I can't even tell what's going on, really. So I guess maybe my low is the fact that I can't go out and like get a pizza right now. I actually really pizza. But yeah, I'm really just grateful that I am well. I think that's important, and my family's fine. So
Yeah.
I'm straight.
So for me, high would be just having the time to read. So reading and eating. and sleep too. A low, I would probably say not being able to like go to the gym. That's probably like a low.
What are you reading, if I may ask?
So currently I'm reading Just Mercy. Yeah, which is it's really good. It's I don't know if you guys know the background about Brian Stevenson, the lawyer that he pretty much just works for equality and justice for death row inmates that might be wrongfully convicted. So it's actually a really good read. So I've enjoyed reading it. So I'm almost done with that.
Yeah, let me know how it goes and what you like and dislike about it. I'm always down for a good read.
Yeah.
This girl.
Me?
Who, me? Oh, no, you.
So my highs for the day is just getting to help like patients and clients, and I come from a family of healthcare workers, so just kind of like having them safe and me being safe as well is kind of like a high. A low, maybe not getting as much sleep as I need because I'm still kind of like still doing online classes and still working, and I need to do both, so it's kind of like exhausting but rewarding altogether.
Hello?
So you, hey, moderator!
What
We
bad?
missed it, you.
See how the devil wants to walk on this?
Yes, introduce yourself and let us know your high and your low.
So wait, say that again.
Introduce yourself and let us know your high and your low.
Okay, so my name is Isatu, but everybody calls me Tutu.
Hey, Tutu.
Hey y'all. And my highs, I'm guessing that would be my strengths.
For the day.
My strength is I have a very vibrant like personality. Like if I meet anybody, literally, it's kind of hard to not like me because I'm like such a people's person. So like I just love meeting new people. My lows, I'm very hard on myself and I procrastinate. Yes.
Okay. We were talking high and low for the day, but we're gonna keep it in mind.
Okay.
In mind. Don't worry, we're gonna keep that in mind, sis. Maybe we can do strengths and weaknesses too.
I didn't know that. Well, thank you. Okay. All right. So the high for the day, I finished like my first YouTube vlog video.
Ooh.
Congrats.
Thank you. And the low, I've been in the house all week. That's a blower. Yes. So, but other than that, that's really basically it. Who's
Get
next?
everyone.
Oh, me. My high for today was that I was able to sort of accomplish everything that I set out. I'm normally somebody that likes to be in and out, and I even before the quarantine I hated going out. So like today I had like a list of what I was supposed to do, and my high was being able to accomplish everything on time. Because if you know me, I'm not gonna expose myself on time. But yeah, pretty much that's what it was. And then my low is kind of not feeling like I have those like school or like work, those sort of rails in place to kind of keep myself disciplined. And I think that's my low, because now I have to like be self-disciplined, and it's a bit hard. You wake up every day and it's like a different time. There's not like that regime that I normally have in place, and it's kind of confusing. It's taking a while to get used to.
Okay. So everybody went?
I didn't go.
Okay, go ahead.
And Lara again, or Lala, aka Lala. My high for today is I got up, thank God.
Amen.
I'm at my 10:30 meeting with my team, thank God. I got invited to like 4 Don't Rush challenges, and I've just kind of been putting it back because it's like I'm putting on makeup, but I'm not really going anywhere. It's like kind of dragged myself to that bathroom, put on my makeup, I felt good. I got dressed. I did all the videos at once. Boom, boom, boom. If you don't like it, if it doesn't correspond, that's your business to edit and handle it. I got it done. So that's kind of like my high. My low would be kind of like not feeling like I'm in control of certain things due to the quarantine. And I think as humans, we like to feel in control of some parts of our lives. So that feeling of not feeling in control has been like, I don't want to say like anxiety, but I've been making me a little anxious. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody went, right? So we got everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the icebreaker. So thank you for that while I was getting my life together. So basically, like, I had an icebreaker game. So I wanted us to get to know each other a little bit more. So basically it was like, tell us your name. Obviously, yeah, everybody announced their name. Like country, where you from? Because I know there's a whole bunch of diversity on here. So you can just tell us the country, and then I have a would you rather question for everybody.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, whoever I see, Cess, I see you first. All right.
Country of origin, Kenya.
Kenya. Shout out to the 254.
Yay!
All right. All right. So my would you rather question is, would you rather forget who you are every time it rains, or never be able to remember why you walked into a room?
No, I'd rather forget why I walked into a room. I don't want to forget myself ever. I don't want to feel like
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you on that one. All right. Next person is, how do I say your name? Sorry if I say Nahimba?
Himba.
Nahimba.
No, Himba.
Oh, Himba. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Himba. Okay. All right, so tell us your country.
Zambia.
Ooh, okay. What's the area code of that?
Good.
Jesus Christ.
I can't.
Oh, you were born there?
Yeah, I'm actually an international student, so I should know. I don't know.
Yeah. I have relatives from Zambia.
Maybe they can tell us. So people on Facebook actually. What?
Facebook gang comments.
Wow. Okay, so if somebody knows the area code to Zambia, please let us know because yes. All right. Okay, so my question for you is, would you rather lose all your hair or all your teeth?
Oh.
Hey.
I make sure I can write with these questions.
I feel like I have nice teeth. I have thick hair too.
Okay.
I would lose my hair before my teeth.
Lose your hair. Okay. You can always wear wigs,
Exactly.
Period. That's what I said. Look, I'm bald anyway, so.
Okay. All right. So next question is for Nora. All right. Where are you from, Nora?
Cameroon,
Okay, shout out to
237.
Cameroon. You know the area code?
237.
Come on. All right. Okay. Were you born there?
Yeah, I was born in Cameroon.
Okay. All right. All right. So my question for you is, would you rather be able to never leave the house or only be able to be in your house for 5 minutes at a time?
I would say to only be in your house 5 minutes at a time. Like, I'm an international relations major, and obviously I think a large part of that is associating with different cultures. So it wouldn't make sense. Like, although I feel like I'm a natural introvert that can be extroverted when I need to be. And like, it's a requirement for what I'm trying to do to be able to interact with different people. So spending 5 minutes is more like reasonable than just being in my house the whole time.
Right. Okay. I can dig that. I feel you. All right. Lala.
Hey, girl.
All right. Country.
Cameroon.
Okay. Shout out to the Cameroonians on here. Lately I've been surrounded by so many Cameroonians, and I've never met Cameroonians like in my life.
Word.
Really?
So I know
We're
I've
magical.
many Cameroonian friends. All right.
We're good luck. We bring good luck to people.
Really?
Mhm.
How about? All right. So my question, and you were born there or here?
Yeah, I was born in Cameroon.
Okay. All right. My question for you is, would you rather marry someone you didn't love or marry someone that doesn't love you? Everybody, their face is like, everybody's face is like, whew.
Marry someone I didn't love or someone who doesn't love me.
Mhm. This is stuck.
I guess marry someone I didn't love. Because I feel like love you can grow to love someone. And just the way that they would act towards me would definitely, knowing my personality, would make me grow to love them. So marrying someone I didn't love for sure, because don't love me, ooh, child, baby, that's a toxic relationship. That.
I mean, but Lala, think about that question. You said in turn, you said somebody you didn't love. So like, you know, you have to give in order to receive. So if you're saying it's toxic for the other person not to love you, then you not loving that person is toxic to them. So like,
no, I know myself, and if someone is giving me something, I will definitely give back because I'm a giver. So
okay.
It's all about knowing myself, and I know myself, and I would rather do that than marrying someone who didn't love me, because I know I'll be given and I won't be getting.
Right.
Okay. A little selfishness in there, but it's okay. We got to be selfish sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Be selfish.
All right, last one, and this is Joe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where you from?
Kenya, so the 254.
Shout out to the 254. Come on.
Okay.
So we have people from the east side, and then we have people from the because Cameroon, tell me this, because y'all keep saying y'all was in Central.
It's Central West Africa. Central West Africa. We're still on the coast, so like I just say Central West Africa.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have Central, we have West, we have East. All right. Cool. All right. So you were born in Kenya?
Yeah, I was born in Kenya.
Okay. All right. All right. So my last question for you is: would you rather be framed for a murder you didn't commit, or frame your best friend for a murder you committed?
Girl, I need sip wine on that.
Okay.
I'm
Like sip one. Like girl.
Right? I'm not gonna spend time in jail. So I don't know. Why would I frame my best friend for murder? Or be framed for murder? Whew. And this life in prison with no parole?
Girl, this is like, we gonna say this is like life in prison with 2 consecutive terms, girl.
I'm sorry, bestie. We're gonna have to frame you.
Girl. At least you're honest.
No,
Well,
but let me ask you, Joe. What if your best friend is your like spouse?
Oh,
I can find another spouse. Sorry.
period.
Out. Like
She said, boys are like buses. First one come, next 15, another one coming.
At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, I hope you put money on commissary, but listen, baby boy.
Hey, no.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
All right.
He said bye.
I know, right? Okay. I like that. So, okay, we got to know each other. So, I'm, like I said, Tutu. I am from Sierra Leone. Shout out to the 232.
Ooh.
And I didn't have a question for myself, obviously, because it was for you guys. But yeah. So.
You have to ask yourself a question.
Okay. What? Okay, y'all ask me a question. Somebody come up with a question. Ask me, would you rather?
Would you rather be Were you born in Salon?
No, I was born here.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have preferred to be born in Salon, or do you like the fact that you were born in the U.S.?
Both. So I like the fact that I was born here because it's like I can kind of, like I have that, what is it, that option of like, okay, well, I can relate off of this perspective, and then I can also like, but I also do wish that I was, raised and born and raised in Salon, because it's like, I feel like if I was born and raised in Salon, like so many things would be different for me. And like, you mean like education wise and stuff like that, like, like, I feel like people that were born there and they got education, they're so much more ahead and advanced than we are. And it's like, kind of us, like Americans are born here, we're kind of like have that silver spoon that's fed to us. So it's like, if I was born there, like for instance, like cooking, like that's something that everybody should do. Like over here, like our parents, like my parents are on me, like my mom was on me, like, oh Jay, you need to learn how to cook, because I'm not going to be cooking for you and your husband. That's that. But it's just like, like you're accustomed to that when you were born, like, over abroad. So that's what I would say. So, but I would rather be born in Salon. Yeah.
Okay.
What do they call like people who have either were born there and then moved to America and be here a long time and they go back? Like for us Cameroonians, we call them bushballers. Like, what do they call people there?
So we call them JCs. So JCs like just come.
Mm.
Yeah, so JC. So basically, if you leave there and then you be here like for a good amount of time, like for instance, but my dad goes like all the time. But even so, they still call him like JC because it's like you've been here for so long and then you go back all of a sudden. So.
Well, y'all, can I ask a question like before we go? Like, what is one thing y'all love about your culture, and what is one thing y'all hate about your culture?
Anybody can open that.
Yeah.
The men.
What I love about, the negative first. So what I don't like is, I think, the tribalism. That's one of the things I don't like. What I do like is just how it's unity, but also just like a whole, like a village type of a vibe, Yeah. That whole like community type of vibe, like the community comes together if you're going through like rough times. That's what I really like about that.
Just to kind of piggyback.
It takes a village. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Answer the question, Joe. Go.
What's that?
Answer the question. I think she had a question for you.
Oh no, I was just piggybacking off what she said, because like they always say, like it takes a village to raise a child. So it's like you come together with that whole, when you were talking about like unity and stuff. So
I mean, it takes a village to raise a child, but then there has to be boundaries between that village, between the parents and the child. And yeah, I would like my village to raise my child, but first off, let's establish those boundaries. I think Africans do a really bad job at boundaries. But go ahead.
I was gonna piggyback off of what Joe said. I do not like the tribalism. To me, it really does not make any sense whatsoever. And it's kind of funny because I think it's more pronounced when you're in Kenya, and then when people come here, because there's so few of us from Kenya, you kind of create that solidarity, because the first thing that you notice is you're Kenyan, it's not your tribe. But while you're in the country, like that is much more pronounced. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. One of the things that I do like about my culture is that I feel like Kenyans are like legit hilarious, like crack you up, and they're very, very smart, very smart.
I would say mine is like, I know like Cameroon is called like Afrique la Miniature, like miniature Africa, and I really love and appreciate the diversity in Cameroon. Like, it's not something that I realized until I started interacting with other cultures or other countries in Africa. So I really appreciate the diversity. But like I said, I don't like not having boundaries. Certain things just being it's because of culture, and then you have to do with that. Like, that inability sometimes to evolve culture is something I detest. So it's something I'm trying to work on with like my dad, and like other people as well to be like, as a woman growing up in this culture, like it's gonna have to evolve to encompass me and my children. So I need that, to happen.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I was just like, am I getting part here or what? Sorry. But was the question about our culture or country?
So what do you like about your,
Country.
is the country or culture?
There's culture within the country.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, what I'd say about Zambia, I think Zambia is a really pretty place. Like, you guys should actually visit, or at least go online and see. It's like really, really beautiful. And the people are lovely. They're really friendly. What I don't like, you guys touched on the tribalism aspect, and we have a lot of that, and I come from the tribe that like people don't like, actually. Then another thing is there's certain parts of our culture that I don't necessarily agree with that I think should evolve over time, especially about a woman's place. But I won't go into that. But yeah, that's one of the things I don't.
I was just gonna say what I don't like about my culture is the gender roles and how it oppresses women and how it views women and how women are treated. That's what I don't like about the Cameroonian culture. It definitely needs to evolve. It definitely needs to evolve. And I think I'm praying it will, but it's taking time. I think social media has definitely helped it a lot. But yeah.
Okay. With Sierra Leone, like I would say what I don't like is also the gender roles. Like it's still like it's getting better than it was before, but it's still like we just need to work more on that. With what I love about my country is that like I don't know about your like you guys country, but like for mine, because I was having a conversation with one of my friends and we were talking about like how basically like like Nigerians always marry Nigerians and like they have like the countries that always marry within their country or their tribe or whatever. And when it comes to my country, we're not really like onto that. So it's like if I was one thing my parents always told me that if I met somebody, it's not like they've never sat down and it's like, oh, you need to marry a Salon man. Like it's always been like whoever you love or whoever like you want to be with, then that's fine. It's never been like, oh, I'm forcing you to marry. So that I think that's what I kind of like about that. We don't really judge like who you're with or what tribe you are. Yeah.
Are we moving on to the topic or are we taking like a question?
No, we're moving on to topic now.
Okay.
All right. So the first topic that I have, so like I said, I wanted it to be a part 2 sequel of what the guys were talking about like trauma and like how they express themselves and do they feel like they need to express themselves. But before we got into that, I wanted to talk about, because the last question that I asked it for like a reason. And I asked, would you rather be framed for a murder you didn't commit from your best friend? So I kind of want to steer away from the relationships for a second real quick. And I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys consider red flags in friendships? Because obviously we talk about what the red flags are in relationships, but we never talk about what the red flags are in friendships. So it's like, what do you guys feel like is a no-no, is a deal breaker in friendships? Because it's like maybe you might have a friend that's like envious of you. Maybe you might have a friend that's like, whenever you do something and you feel like it's an accomplishment, your friend doesn't feel the same. Like your friend never like gives you that recognition that you feel like you deserve. So what are your red flags or no-nos when it comes to friendships?
So I feel like I'm actually I'm really quiet when I meet people in the beginning, but that's because I'm like really, really observant. So my intuition is like, and most of the time the people that I'm friends with are like people that I know in the end, like it's gonna work out. So most of my friends are actually people that have been there for the long haul. So like the red flags for me are when you're so self-absorbed and everything is about you, that's a problem. Or if I find myself like giving and it's exhausting, I know I can't be around you that much. Like it's just not gonna work. And then even just the way people present themselves and speak is a big deal to me, because if you're coming any type of way, best believe we ain't gonna rock. It's not gonna work. So that self-respect aspect is another thing. It's just a lot. There's a lot. And I don't think these are all like implicit things that, like, you know, you look at someone, you look at the way they move around a space, and you just like sort of in your heart, you just know like, yeah, this will work. Sometimes it's not that explicit for me.
Right.
But definitely selfish people I can't deal with. I just can't.
For me, like the biggest thing I think the biggest thing in any interpersonal relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship, is how you treat others. For me, like I'm sort of like I can be introverted, so like the people that I'm around with, I'm really observant of how they treat other people. Because I think that's key. Like, you know, no matter how mad or disappointed we are, even I am personally, I feel like there's always something within me that always like wants to make sure that the people I care about are good. Like, I mean good, like going above and beyond. So I take that time out of myself to make sure that people are comfortable. So I think one thing I want, like I see in a friendship, is people extending that brains to make sure that other people are comfortable as well. I don't like people that like they're in a crowd and then it's just rah. Like calm down, like be able to interact with somebody else one-on-one. I think that is the foundation for anything. When I'm looking at people, I'm like, he's moving mad or she's moving mad when it comes to like interacting with people. Like, I don't want to be next to her.
Right.
Like when things pop off, like they be like, oh, so and so say you're connected, then boom, you're in something you weren't supposed to be. Like.
No, I agree. I think for me also, like I'm an observer, so I like observing. When I first meet somebody, I like just to sit back and just observe just how they talk, just see how they're talking to me. If they're talking to me, like, you know, if they're talking about somebody else in front of me, it's just a red flag for me. If you're complaining all the time, that's another one. I can't constantly be drained. And so the other thing is, if you only come to me when things are just horrible all the time. So I think that's one of the things too. Your character definitely matters. Like things that you would say, it's like, okay, yeah. Or even something that, for example, if you were, let's say, dating your boyfriend and you want me to cover for you, like if you're cheating or something like that, I'm sorry. That's like, I'm not going to, I know it's girl code, but I'm not going to cover for that, because that just shows your morals and your character just not aligned at all.
Anybody else?
Well, for me, I think one of the turnoffs is just somebody who is very egocentric and self-centered. That just kind of turns me off, like, completely. And then I also kind of like, I don't like people who are, or rather, like, I would say, like, what turns me off about like a person is someone who's like constantly angry. Like, what am I out of the world? Like, what happened? Yeah, you know, that's so draining to be around, because then it's just like I'm walking on eggshells around you and I can't be myself. And then I think just somebody who's not like genuinely happy for you. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, you know, when you tell them something, or rather like if you're opening up to your friends and you like admit like, okay, I'm in a stuck situation, or like, I don't know, I probably made a mistake. Like they always amplify it and always remind you like, you know, like what bad thing you did. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Like, how could you do that? Like, you know, that's so silly. That's so dumb. I don't like that, because now you're like intentionally trying to just kind of like ruin my energy and just kind of like bring bad vibes. I'm not about bad vibes and negative energy, because I like, when I go to a place, I like to make people feel good. I like to be around people, so I'm probably gonna be the one who's like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm kind of shy, but it's kind of hard to tell that, because when I go somewhere, like I'll just start talking to anyone and everyone and just trying to make you feel good and feel welcome and feel, you know, just you know, warm. So yeah, those are my no-nos. Like I need emotionally intelligent people around me. Cheers. Oh, yeah, girl. You know, like, of your feelings, and you're like considerate of. That's the other thing, like you're considerate of other people, and just kind of like move in a way to like, engage everyone, and just like don't try to put people down. So,
yeah, I get you. Well, for mine, I would basically just say like, I feel like a red flag in a friendship or whatever a group of friends is. I feel like if everybody in the group is not like motivated or determined, like I feel like you have to have, if you're going to be in a group of women, I feel like, or whatever the situation is, friends, I feel like you have to have people that are willing to put in work, determined, and just to do things. Because I'm not going to be sitting here and grinding and working my ass off. Meanwhile, you just sitting here just going to the club every day. Like, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we want everybody in the circle to eat. We want everybody to win. So if I'm out here busting my ass, like, sis, come on, though, like, we got to get this ball rolling. That's what I feel like it is. So I feel like if you're not motivated or you're not determined, that's kind of a turnoff for me. And basically, like, somebody that's not genuine towards me, like, if I'm happy about something, it might be the smallest thing, like, hey, I changed my nail color.
Like, period, sis. Cheers, we did say in the group chat,
like if I come to my friend, they'll be like, yes, bitch, like, yes, you know.
Yes.
That's basically it. So that's my own thing. So have y'all ever like been in a situation where you're like, nah, this friendship gotta go, like, bruh, it's a dub? Because
yeah, definitely.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I said definitely. I've been in places and I'm like, no, this is not a friendship. This person is just constantly here to like put me down. Like, I've been in those situations and I've like, we can't be friends. I've told them face to face. I'm like, I think if I feel like we are close enough and we've built kind of like a friendship over the years, and I'm just like now realizing, I will give you the respect to be like, I need to have a conversation with you, and this is not going anywhere. I think we need to go our separate ways. I wish you nothing but the best, but this is where our journey is kind of like going in separate directions. And then there are others who you just like, you kind of feel the vibe, and I'm just like, I'm not even gonna waste my energy talking about it. I'll just ghost on you.
1 second, let me address the comment. DJ Barack said, I hear women talking all this good sweet talk, but they still fall for the wrong men. Listen, we're not on that right now, and that's just very, very ignorant on your part to say. But you guys can go ahead speaking. Let's continue our conversation.
Sorry, I was gonna go on a superficial level, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So I've got a really close friend, and she always goes on about how she's not friends with girls who are not fine, right? If you're not fine.
Wait, what?
Where you mumbling? You better speak up.
Wait, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I heard you, but it kind of went out, so I didn't hear.
Okay, so my internet connection is also kind of funny, so probably that's why.
You and me both. So y'all, if I cut out, y'all, please.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's a little funny. But I was saying I have a close friend who tells me that if you're not fine, she can't be your friend. Like, it just won't work.
And she's your close friend.
Yeah, she's my close friend, right?
And so, she said if you're not fine, like beautiful.
Like, all her babes are fine. It's just a thing, right? Which I totally respect. I feel like if that's what you want to go off on, that's cool. But so initially when she said it, I was like, huh? I mean, I know I'm not bad looking, so I was like, okay, cool.
Fine.
Yeah, period, sis.
I'm not ugly.
Wait.
I have a question too. I have something to say, but you know what?
Then I thought about it, right? And I've been in situations where I'm friends with people that it's not necessarily their looks, but maybe sometimes they're not put together. And like when they come into a space and like, I want to introduce you as my friend, but like, sis, you kind of slacking, like it's just one of those things where like you're like dying and you're just like, oh, man, listen, am I about to do this? Am I not about to do this? And I think we've all been in those situations where it happens. And like, it's probably happened to me and my other friends. Like, I've walked into a place and my friends are like, sis, like, what's going on? But they're nice enough to tell me like, okay, let's go to the bathroom and we got to change this or whatever. That's cool. But yes, I think like we also need to talk about the superficial aspect of it.
Okay, wait.
Auntie,
go ahead. You're raising your hand. Go.
Okay, wait. So with that said, because I've never been in that situation before, but I've known somebody that's been in that situation where the friend was like, all my friends are bad or they have to be bad. But baby girl, you're not bad. Like, you know, like it's always the ones that's always not
that looking a little
Louded.
A little different.
little bendy.
I know. Fine.
like your
No,
flashback.
but she's actually fine. She's actually a fine bitch. She's a fine bitch. I won't even-
All right, okay. I'll give her that.
So
All
when
right.
she said it, I just said, "Oh, okay." Then I looked at her friend. I see what you mean.
Lord.
I don't know. That would rob, for me personally, that would rob me the wrong way. Because I base my friendship on what you can bring to the table, how you're gonna help me grow, how I can help you grow,
Amen.
what I need, what you need. It's not I don't want to say I have some ugly friends, but I have some mediocre friends, and I don't really judge them by the look. I don't know. I think that's very, very superficial. And then again, to each his own. If you like, if your energy gravitate towards people like that, then definitely go for it. But I think it depends on what do you want in a friend and what are you looking for in a friend. And it's, again, any relationship that you have is a partnership, whether sexual, platonic, and all that stuff. So what are you looking for in a friend? Are you looking for looks? Are you looking for, their characteristic, how they can help you grow? Are they going to be at your wedding? Are they going to be at your funeral, sis?
Are they gonna be at your
They're looking to see what
I'm gonna say,
section
but
they can sit at in the club. That's
like, can I?
No, but Shetu, you can have club friends.
No, you can have a different group of
You can
friends.
have a set of friends that you want to shake Nyashkwa and shake Nyash with them. That's fine, but leave them in the clubs, sis. You want to go out? Yo.
Yeah, but like, I want to bring those
friends for shaking Yash.
I want to bring those 2 points together in that, like, superficial and like, I feel like if we're friends, we're cool enough. Like, girl, if something's going on that's like physical, I could be like, yo, sis, like, girl, something's wrong. Like, you fix that. But I think judging friendships based on looks solely kind of robs people of their individualism. If that's the right word. Like, only saying like, oh, first their look has to be this, robs people of their individual identity. Like, for me, my friends are a lot more stylish than I am. I'm a tomboy true. I shop at my dad's closet, I'll say that. Like, if my friends, like, and to other girls, if my friends were just to be like, yo, like, girl, like, what she be doing, what she be wearing, like, I feel like it robs them of getting to know me as an individual, my personality. So I'm not so much focused on the looks or the aesthetics, because like, as your friend, you can put myself together, like, oh girl, we gonna like look like this, like that's fine. But I think if it's something in terms of something physically is going on with your friend, like, you need to let them know, like, girl, did you brush your teeth this morning?
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, girl,
That's that.
like girl, like, you're, or like, even tell her, like girl, your outfit is 2 sizes too small, like, you need, like, it's something, like, you know what I mean? That's different. But like, if you're just like equating somebody's character to the way they look through and through, I think you might miss who they are.
Something about them. Yeah.
I agree with you on that, because I feel like I don't see it as like being like superficial when you're trying to like let me know what's not right. That I consider that like, you have my back and you're honest with me, and I appreciate that. But kind of like, just choosing your friends based on how they look primarily, I'm not with that. Because I feel like I've had friends of all caliber, like different looks, different religion. And to me, I think of it, and I've always thought of it, everybody has something to offer. So I'm not going to let, the kind of like the mask of you, like, hinder me from getting to know you. And I remember being told by one of my friends a long time ago, I think when I was still in high school, she said, Sissy, you talk to everybody. And I was like, yeah, because I think everybody's cool and dope and something that I can.
Yeah, in some way, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I even get that from my family sometimes. Like, I had a friend who was a guard, right? And he was a guard at my aunt's house, and like, I used to talk to him all the time, like, with gist and stuff. And then one of my cousins was like, "What are you doing? Like, what's up?" And like, today, he's actually really doing like really well for himself. And I was like, you see, you don't even know what he was doing. Like, he was a guard part-time and he was going to school part-time. Like, you just never know what people bring to the table ever.
That's why you never judge, because you never know what
Yeah,
people
you know.
got going on. Like, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's I all your opinions is really good. This is a dope. Y'all is dope. I like
Let me address a comment. Belle said, "Do you ladies categorize your friends?"
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was literally about to say that.
Can you elaborate on categorizing?
Like you said, you have club friends, you
Yeah,
have
so like
friends,
so
you
I
have
feel
best
like-
friends, you have family friends.
yeah. So it's like because I was about to read that too. So when you said categorize your friends, I feel like okay. So like for instance, take me. I went to school in another state. I went to school in North Carolina. So I have my North Carolina friends, right? And then I have my main bitches, like my Ace Boom Coons, like they're all here in Maryland. So I have those here. And then I have like, the people that like, okay, when I need to get my shit together for real, like those type, like you have a different set of friends and stuff like that. So you notice it, like, so it's like, you're not always, because it's always good to have different people around you, because if you're around the same people, it's just like, what you need to be able to learn and take things from different people and like get different opinions and perspectives from other people. So I mean, it's good if you have just one set of friends and everybody, because in my main group of friends that I have here in Maryland, like everybody has something different. Like I have somebody, for instance, like somebody does hair, somebody makes wigs, boom, okay. Somebody is a YouTuber, boom, okay, cool. Somebody is an entrepreneur, boom. Like, you know, like you have all those different types of people and stuff like that. So if you have a close friend like that, like a close group, and you have like different personalities and different things, like that's bomb.
Everyone can benefit from each other.
Yes, as long as you benefit from each other, it's just like that's all you need. That's all I basically need. So
I think friendship is a really strong word. I have acquaintances and not friends. So like I have different groups of acquaintances. Like my friends are my friend. I can count on one hand the friends I have, and like my friends have different personalities. And so they do bring a lot of different things to the table as well as myself. But I can't I can't say that the person that does certain things, like, oh, maybe like the person that does like, specializes in hair or whatever, is like my friend. I would say I'm friendly towards her, but she's an acquaintance. So for me, it's not that I have a group of friends. I have my friends, like my day ones, the people that I back up. And then I have acquaintances that I'm very friendly towards.
So Nora, you're saying that there's levels to your friendship, and when do you decide when acquaintances become friends or day one? Because sometimes your friends, your day one, can disappoint you and go back to just somebody I used to know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like there's definitely
do you allow that open door of filtering in and out? Not
no, not in that, girl, not in that. If you're out, see your way. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lifespan to friendship, but I'm saying, like, if I'm saying you're my friend, it's more than just I see you once in a while, I chat with you once in a while. These are people that like I'm sharing this. Like this is the next level. I'm sharing a large vulnerable part of myself with you. Like my life story is, I'm not gonna read everybody that I'm like, lady that's doing my nails, like, girl, let me be really vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, so it depends. There's a period where you get to where you're my friend, where I can share a very vulnerable side of myself to you, and you're my friend. And it's like, once you leave, you leave. But like, I can't say that like my college acquaintances, I was vulnerable enough with them to call them friends in like a way, if that makes sense. And I can't say that even family friends, quote unquote, like there's some, like they're literally acquaintances, and I can't say that I was ever comfortable enough to be vulnerable with them to call that a legitimate friendship, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. And I think I feel like I can relate to that, because that's how I am. I have like a really small, tight knit friends that they're consistent, that I know if something were to happen, I can call on them and they would be here. And then I have acquaintances where it's like, oh, do you want to go do this or whatever? And but my core is who I've been vulnerable with. Like if you're going through like a breakup or like job or something, like something's just horrible, that you can actually be vulnerable and share that side of you with them, compared to like acquaintances. Yeah, you can open a little bit and show a little bit, but it's not like that deep, you know.
Okay. So everybody got with their friendship. This was a good. I just wanted to start it off before we actually got into the main.
Let's talk about trauma.
Okay, let's talk about the trauma. All right. So the fellas were talking about basically trauma and how they deal with it and like expressing it, if they were able to express it and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get their perspective, because what the guys were saying, there was actually some valid points on there, and I learned a lot from what they were saying. So I just wanted to get your opinion on like your perspective on how like us as African women deal with trauma, and like, do you feel like you need to get therapy? Do you feel like you need to get help? Like, if feel free, this is an open forum. If you want to, discuss your whatever it is, feel free. It is no judgment zone or anything like that. So just feel free. Anybody could open the floor and talk about how they feel. If you want me to go, I can go first. It doesn't matter. But so whoever wants to open the floor.
I mean, I can start. How do I deal with trauma? I think for me, the first thing was to like recognize what was trauma. And I think that for me came out in what kind of like, things that really bothered me, or sometimes they would manifest in just having a really, like a very extreme reaction around someone. And then reflecting and thinking to myself, like, that was very, very extreme for you to react like that towards that person. Like, what do they trigger within you? And then like recognizing somebody that I could talk to. I mean, I take stock a lot. Like, I try to think about what happened to me. I try to process that a lot and trying to see by myself with my thoughts and figure out like, how am I making headway? Like, how did I get myself in this bad space? What is it about my current situation that got me here? Like, we hear about all that psychological stuff, like, maybe like bad relationships or bad friendships, or the people you attract is rooted in like your childhood trauma. So I think for me it was more like I think it came to me like manifesting in that way, like just having this reaction towards someone. And I think one of the things that I did is I'm very fortunate to have people in my family who I consider like safe people to speak with, and I know that I trust them and they won't betray my trust. So I would speak to them. I was actually just talking to my friends about this. So one of them is my aunt and my sister. So I talk to my sister whenever I feel like I'm just in a weird space. And I call her and sometimes I would say like, do you think my reaction is warranted, or am I just like acting out? And I trust that she's going to be very brutally honest with me. And then we start talking about it. And it's so funny because like when I talk to her, then she reveals to me that she has the same feelings and she's been dealing with that. And she doesn't know, like, she's been struggling with the same things that I've been struggling with. So then that makes me feel like I'm not alone. And yeah, I just kind of like talk about it. And I think for me, like one of the things that used to trigger me was my mom. I was separated from my mom for a really long time. My mom moved out here well, I was maybe like 9 or 8, I think. And I never saw her until maybe like 9 years later. And she kind of wanted to parent me the same way. Mm-hmm. But then in my head, I was like, you've never been around to see my growth. So what are you telling me right now? And I remember like just being so angry towards her because like African parents, like sometimes when they're trying to, in their heads, they're trying to think like, I'm pushing you to be a better person. Mm-hmm. But the method that she uses was just like, that's a no-no. Mm-hmm. Like she would constantly compare like me and my siblings to like my cousins. And I'm like, we don't have the same resources. We don't live the same lifestyle. So how dare you come here and tell me, why can't I be like, ABC? And then like, I started like at one point, I don't even know why she did not beat the life out of me. I think one time she said something and I spoke back to her and I was like, so why can't you be like Aunt blah, 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 blah. So her sister. And it triggered, like she got angry. How dare you? And I was like, how dare you? How does that make you feel? What do you think that makes me feel, like you saying that to me? And I think I had to wait until I was grown enough to live by myself for me to feel comfortable approaching my mom and like having those conversations with her. Mm-hmm. And we haven't smoothed things over, but it's been a step in the right direction where I talk to her and I'm like, I'm gonna say something to you. I don't need you to reply. I need you to listen. It's been progress. Because sometimes you start talking and she's like, "But did you lack school fees? But were you thrown out of the house? How are you this?" I'm like, that does not equate to anything. You're not listening to me. I need you to listen to me. When I speak, don't say anything until I'm done. You know. So I think I was able to like grow the balls to actually tell her that, because I was not living under her roof. Because if I was living under her roof,
another story.
Okay.
With that being
said,
right? So literally, that's how I feel like. So with that, what you said, I feel like that's kind of like a reason why us Africans. Well, I can't speak for you guys. I can speak for me. Like I know for me, like whenever I had situations, I felt like I couldn't talk to my parents, because whenever I try to talk to my parents, they were always like, "No, you shouldn't be talking about this." Like, like, would I even dare talking to my father about a boy? Nah, like that's not even the situation. Or even if I was to talk to my mom and be like, "Okay, mommy, let me tell you about this boy I have a crush on," or so and so, my mom would be like if I was to end up doing something wrong, like the next day or whatever, she'll throw that back in my face and be like, "You see, it's because of that boy." So it's like I feel like that's kind of like a trauma for me, not a trauma in a way, but it's kind of like gives me that distance, because I feel like I can't go up to my parents and speak to them on something without them basically like throwing it back in my face. And I feel like with African parents tend to do that a lot, and they feel like it's parenting, but it's really not. It's like you're creating more space.
Yeah, speaking of space, I think African parents a really bad job at creating safe spaces for their children to come and talk to them. And as Sis said, to listen. African parents need to listen and just listen to what your child said. I feel like there's a imbalance of power between parent and child, and so the parent would always have to have this upper hand on, controlling everything that you do. And I think they need to kind of level it, right? And leveling it is, come to me, I'll listen, and you talk, and I'll give you feedback, I'll give you advice. I'm here to guide you and not to drag you through life. For me, my trauma was coming out with my sexual assault. I did not talk to my parents because, again, I live in this culture community where talking about sexual assault is a taboo, and there's always something wrong with the girl, right? And so it took a while for me to come out, and when I finally did, my mom said the same thing that someone's mom said. Wasn't I there for you financially? Were you ever lacking school fees? Were you ever lacking this and that? And I'm like, it's not even, those things are cool, they're necessary, but it's not what the child needs at the moment. And I think like us as this upcoming generation, we have to kind of free ourselves from that way of thinking, or that way of how we were raised, because it's just so detrimental to our health. And we don't want to carry that on to our children if we ever do decide to have children. So I think it's just creating safe spaces, just listening, because trauma in an African household is so real. And when you start to grow up and learn these words, I didn't learn what trauma was until I was in college, okay? Learning these words about trauma, gender inequality, abuse, and all that stuff, you're like, oh shit, I went through that. And then you start internalizing your life, like, this is not the norm. This is not how I should be treated. This is not how my characteristics should be shaped based on this experience. And so just a lot of unpacking all these things in culture and tradition and all these things, I think African parents have to basically do better.
Okay, so I'm sitting here listening to y'all, and I'm gonna say as little as possible so I don't get emotional, because I don't want to get emotional. But for me, distance was what made all the difference. I think I've had a really close friend of mine say that in terms of facilitating a relationship with your African parents, distance is a really good thing. And for me, I've seen that it worked out distance. And I don't know if my parents are going to listen to this, but for me, distance has been the factor in me being able to even have a decent relationship with my parents. Because I'm growing up and I'm realizing that like some of the stuff like I went through was traumatic, and like it's something that I've yet to be able to speak out as an adult about it fully. And it's like when I'm trying to make these romantic relationships with people that I'm realizing like, yo, something's really wrong with me. Like there's a reason why I can't maintain. There's a reason why this scares me so much. There's a reason why my mind goes here. And it's because of that trauma that I experienced in my childhood. And throughout my life, you know, nobody knew about it, but like the things I was learning and being impacted made me even more afraid of what I went through. It made me feel even more guilty. It made me feel like I was at fault for what happened. So it's something that like I kept in, and then now I'm an adult and I'm trying to like, you know, like create, you know, like long-term relationships with other adults, and I'm realizing that the way I'm processing information is not healthy because of this trauma. And also like, you know, the way our family is handling it's either just let's just pray it all away and then it's gonna be okay, God handle it, it's done.
Forget about it.
You know what I mean? Or it's even like when I say distance, it's even now with our parents, like the way our parents told me, like my parents told me that they're like, I'm not your friend, I'm your parents. They've parented us from a very top down sort of approach, that now that we're all adults, we're not level playing field, but we're all adults and we have adult responsibility. It's not that they're trying to be like, yo, like let me talk to you like that sort of friendship. And it doesn't really work. You can't just switch up. Like I think Sis said, so you can't just switch up now, like after you've been parenting a certain way and think that like, oh, like listen to me now, like, you know, it doesn't work that way. So for me, distance has been the key factor for dealing with, and you know, I'm seeking out, like trying to go to therapy. And I told my mom, I was very open. I was like, Mom, there's something that I feel like there's something that's very wrong with me. I can't talk to you about it, but I really need a professional help to talk about it, because you know, I cannot make and maintain adult relations because of what I've gone through. And so I think that's key. Another thing too is like money does not equal love. I don't know, like, you know, I know a lot of African men and women alike, they keep like, money. And some women say, I'm like, sweetheart, money, that's because that pain you feel in your heart, that heaviness on your spirit, there is no dollar amount that somebody's gonna write to me that they're gonna take away that hurt that you inherently feel in your spirit. I'm sorry, there's not. So like that money does not equal love. And you know, now with the distance, if my parents say something I don't like, okay, I hear you. Well, we're not gonna see each other. We're not gonna talk until I am able to process it and get a handle of my emotions before I then come to you and be like, yo, it is what it is.
So and speaking of distance, that's what I had to. Sorry, just like a quick comment. I had to learn how to love my parents from a distance because I wasn't getting what I needed at that time from them, and that really helped. Just distant. I loved them, but I couldn't love them like I wanted to in that moment. Mm-hmm. So I had to distance myself. It was like 4 months. I had to just distance myself. And, you know, like just understand their way and just, you know, love them from a distance. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. You can go ahead.
So how did you feel, Nora, how did your mom take it when you told her that you were seeking help? Because, you know, like once you tell like an African parent or whatever, like, oh, I want to go seek help, or I need to get help. They're like, oh, why? Like, what's the problem? Like, it's not, this is why I need help, because you guys are reacting like this and I feel like I can't talk to you guys and you guys are doing this. So obviously somebody that is licensed or that is actually willing to listen to me, I'll actually go to them. And it's just like, so how did they react when you said you told your mom, if I'm not mistaken?
I think like I said, distance, like I'm 2 hours away from my parents. My mom doesn't really have that ease of access that she normally has when I'm under her roof. And like I said, like for me, like if somebody blows me, you're not gonna hear from me for a while. So I think my mom, like already knowing that I'm like outside of her reach in a way, kind of like was just like, okay, I get it. I mean, she might not be like, she's like, my mom, like, shout out, like, let me shout out to my mom, because my mom's prayers are the reason why I'm standing solid 2 feet on the ground. Like,
shout out to the Mama's Prayer Warriors.
Like, I'm being dead ass. Like my mom's prayers are literally the reason why. Like there's some things that she'll call and be like, I prayed for you, yeah, and I was like, my mom be like, I prayed you through this, so I'm not gonna like, you know, like negate that. But I think my mom, knowing that there was this distance between us, and then she can already tell that I wasn't somebody that was very open about my feelings, especially towards her. When I came to her about that, like there wasn't anything else she could do, because if she did anything that was like over the top, that would have helped distance me even more from her. Mm-hmm. And this is me speaking like what I perceive. Like my mom definitely might have a different opinion, but like that, I think that distance and like my mom just wanting at the end of the day to have like a relationship, she was just like, yeah, okay, go ahead and do that, and then let me know how it goes. So I think it was what it was at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Anybody go next?
I'll go. So for me, it's more of, I feel like as African women, even Black women as a whole, I would say is strength is seen more of like a birthright, you know? So because we're supposed to be strong in everything and how we process our emotions and how we suppress them, that we're really, and because we have a lot of responsibilities as well, and we have to prove this to everyone else, like how we can still be successful. We're not loud, we're not all these things that they put stereotypes on us. So we tend to neglect our emotions and dealing with the trauma that we've experienced growing up. So I think for me is like the way my parents parented, they were very strict, like everyone's parents. So even though they would tell me, oh, I want you to come to me and talk to me if you're a boy or this and this and that. And I tried that once, and I was like, oh, great, I'll be open out and like I'll share with you. And it was like shut down. No, you're not dating this person. No, you don't know where it's from. Blah blah blah. I was like, and it just left me so floored. And I was like, wait, you just told me I could be open and come to you. So after that, that's the reason why like I would sneak out and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So I think so I moved out after college, and I think because I didn't really still feel like comfortable, it felt like I was walking on eggshells and couldn't really be open with my parents. So it wasn't until like I moved out, and now I'm like 3 hours away from my parents, and they started feeling, as you mentioned, like that distance, and they couldn't really control everything. So for me, I noticed, maybe I would say 2 years ago is when I actually noticed, okay, I knew there were some things, like I went through like a sexual assault in college, so, and like I never told anyone. So I knew that it was preventing me from even having like progressive relationships, especially like romantic relationships. And also I didn't know like what was going on, because I grew up with my stepdad. My father, like my biological dad, was not in the picture. So I knew there was something off. So it wasn't until like 2018 that's when I decided, okay, I had my grandma pass away, so I had like loss happening, and then just so much going on that I just felt like I got into a depression. I decided, okay, I need to seek help and go to therapy. And that's when I started actually, I was in a safe space, being able to share all these things. And I feel like, I think after a month or two after I started therapy, my mom my parents came to visit, and they saw like I was really off, and she mentioned something. She's like, are you okay? And I just said, yeah, I'm all right, whatever. And then I finally came out to her and told her like, yeah, I'm seeking therapy. And she was like, what do you mean you're going to therapy? I was like, yeah. And first thing was like, oh, is it like a Christian therapist? I was like, no, it's not a Christian therapist. Like, I can't really talk to, like, it's okay. I don't want to talk to a Christian therapist, because what are they going to tell me? Like, just about more of like the Bible based. I get that from the church, you know? So I kept going to therapy, and I just peeling those and sharing like everything. And it got to a point where I was comfortable enough to allow my parents to actually come to a session. And and I feel like me actually going to therapy and talking about those things and opening up has allowed me to have like a more open relationship with my parents now, because they know those things. And I think for me, I didn't feel comfortable like talking to them. I was deathly scared to even tell them like, oh, I had like a sexual assault in college, and because you're told, they preach about, oh, you need to abstain from sex, you need to do this. So I was, are they gonna judge me? Are they gonna look at me like different, you know? So, but I think after going through that experience and actually being comfortable enough to the place where I allowed them to come to a session and actually talk to them, they started actually be more open and listening, and instead of just coming from that aspect of, oh yeah, we're here and you can tell us everything, they actually truly, like, I felt like they truly meant it, and listening and actually listening to me and talking to them.
Oh, that's deep, girl.
Right?
Up to you, man.
Right.
Bravo.
That's the level I'm trying to be at with my parents, because I
Girl.
feel like I've started therapy because of my sexual assault, and I want to get them to, you know, to a session, but I feel that and my dad, surprisingly, is very understanding. My mom is the one that's still stuck in this grounded traditional African way, and I feel like African parents like to make things about them, or what
Family name.
or what is this one gonna think about you. And you just want to be like, it's not about you. It's really not about you. I'm going through this. See me. Literally see me.
Hear me.
Hear me. See
Literally.
me. And I think like as growing up as an African girl, I wasn't heard a lot. I wasn't seen a lot just because I'm a woman, period. So now that we're grown, we're like, hear me, see me, and it's kind of strange. It's really strange for them. I think there's hope.
That's good.
There's hope.
Did you? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I was blessed to have two very different parents. So my mom is the one who's more like, get up, keep going, you can't let this get you down, like, move on type of attitude. And then my dad has always been like very understanding, very sweet. And so like that combination sort of helps, because there are times when I'm like down in the pits and I genuinely just want someone to hug me and hold me. And my dad is there for those times. And then there's times when I need that, you got to get this moving. And my mom like is that person. So it kind of like helps. And how I deal with trauma, I blab a lot. So I'm very close to my parents and I talk a whole bunch. So they know everything, right? Even when it comes to boys, like I'll tell them, they'll have them come visit the house, and like just that kind of relationship. But I broke up with someone a couple of years back, and I was like really like, and I was here. So like I left home when I was like 12 or something. I went to boarding school and stuff, so I haven't had my parents close to me. But this time I actually like was out of sorts, right? And even if I had friends and like they'll call me to make sure I was okay, it was just something missing. So I literally like started journaling, and like I used to pray a lot about it as well, and it helped a whole bunch. It really helped. I was in Maryland actually at the time, and I remember like AK is just like, no, I'm here for you type of thing, and it just wasn't hitting, like everybody's there, but it's just not hitting. Yeah. And so like I realized journaling works for me. And then I haven't had many childhood traumas. I did have a sexual assault case when I was younger, but like when I told my mom was straight up like, let's go to the doctor. The people actually it's someone like people that used to work at our house. My mom the same day was like, you guys gotta go. I could explain everything that happened, and she was just like, okay, did this happen? And that was that. So I've always been like very comfortable. And that's the only really traumatic thing that I can recall happening. But I think most of my traumas happened when I came here. When I came to America, I realized that whole racial dynamic and how an African woman, I guess, is supposed to come across, which I didn't really have to do when I was in Zambia or England or South Africa. It wasn't like a big deal until I came here. So my undergrad was okay. I wouldn't complain about it, but my graduate program is where I actually had to go to therapy. And like I was telling my parents, like my energy every time I went to class was like on zero. And I'm just like, what is up with this place? And so I told my parents and my brother about it. And like every time they call me, they're like, have you gone for therapy? Have you gone for therapy? Have you gone for therapy? Because like at some point I even used to get nightmares. So I tried journaling, didn't work. Eventually went to a therapist. And like Josh was saying, I got an app, a meditation app. And then sometimes if I can't sleep, I put some sound on so that it helps. But then I just didn't realize like there's certain things where you don't even realize, but your body has like a reaction to it. And so that's what I was going through for the longest time. And I'm glad I went for therapy because there were some people that were really evoking some spirits that I didn't know that I had.
Okay.
They're just some people that
We rebuke you in the name of God.
Oh my God.
yeah, so therapy really helped, and my parents were supportive and actually pushed me. And I had a friend that was also just like, just go, because like sometimes I had to leave class because I just couldn't, like some of the opinions I was just like, how do people process stuff? So the therapy did help. And the app that I'm using, I haven't used it recently, but it also really helped. But it's just amazing to see how like even when you're grown, like there's certain things that can literally like just rub you the wrong way that you didn't realize.
Trigger.
Yeah, if you're not self-aware, it's one of those things like the microaggressions and everything. If you didn't really know, if you're not self-aware, I swear you think you're going crazy. Because I thought I was going crazy, but my therapist was like, no, you're not.